is Friday, February 24th, 2023. I'm Chris Rebo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Friday puzzle today, so a themeless crossword with a bit of challenge to it, most likely, maybe some punniness and misdirection. That tends to happen on Fridays sometimes, and this potentially misdirecting edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Kathleen Quinn, Quotidiophile, Overfull Hitbox, and, as always, the invaluable Timothy Mark and the indomitable Showmaster. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support in sustaining this series and this channel. And thank you to all of my patrons at any level. It does keep this whole thing going. Thank you so much if you're among them. And if you'd like to become among them, I suppose, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the link in the description field underneath the video. And there you can become a benefactor and get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug, as well as this recognition. Or you can become a patron at any level you choose and get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And that includes yet another acrostic puzzle that I think is set to post today, right soon after this puzzle itself is released. And it was another real stumper, so I really had to work hard for that solve, but I really enjoyed the experience of having done so. Hope you enjoy it as well if you're a patron. Oh, also, I saw that apparently the New York Times is sort of still deliberating over whether they remove, I forget if I've mentioned this on the main puzzle, but the New York Times is removing the acrostic puzzle and other what they call variety puzzles from the website, because apparently not enough people play them, and they're going to become print only, which I think for most of us means non-existent, which I thought is a real shame, because I didn't even realize they were there until about last year, because they're so hidden away. So I feel as though they've sort of created a self-fulfilling prophecy where they're declared a feature to be unused, but I suspect it's unused because it's just not really advertised. I had no idea. So anyway, apparently they're still accepting sort of feedback on this. It's currently slated to be removed at the end of this month, so just in a few days. But if you email nygames@nytimes.com, if you are dismayed about the disappearance of the acrostic and other variety puzzles, nytgames@nytimes.com to register your dismay, respectfully, of course. But that was just something I figured I would mention, because it seemed like a bit of an odd decision to me. In any case, let's get on to today's puzzle. Do subscribe to the channel as well, of course, and there's a Daily Solve Discord chat server. You can join that. And yes, so let's solve today's crossword. This is constructed by Margaret, Cycle, and Sophia Memudis, who have each constructed somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 puzzles apiece, and this is their crossword today. All right, so let's start solving. Cover story. An alibi, maybe? A cover story for a crime. And Save Me Singer Man, the great Amy Mann, singer-songwriter. Blank climbing, discipline that debuted at the 2020 Olympics. No, I don't know. That's interesting. I'll be curious to see what that is. Ugh could be ick, expression of revulsion or disgust. Sort of creature symbolizing rebirth in ancient Egypt. I'm sure this will be obvious when I see it. And emphatic confirmation about oneself. I can do it, maybe? No. I am so, or something like that. Kings and queens, e.g. Bed sizes, face cards, royal titles. Don't know, probably ends with an S. Emphatic confirmation about oneself. Yeah, I'm still not sure. Okay, let's keep going. How many packages are sent? By air? Wireless support providers at times. Bras, a wireless bra? That's a kind of very Friday clue, a bit punny, but not even indicated with a question mark. Which becomes less common as the week progresses. How many packages are sent? So it could be by something, by air maybe. Blank it up, yak it up, you might say, sort of sarcastically. Oh, well, let's try by air and see if that works. One of 2 penguin species endemic to Antarctica. Oh, I'm not sure. Lizard with a third eye. An iguana? What does that mean, a lizard with a third eye? I'm really just using the lizard bit there. Third eye, I'm not sure. Shield for. If you shield for someone, you sort of promoted their product, or I'm not sure. Something that maybe you shouldn't hold. A grudge? Oh, maybe this, is it yuck it up rather than yeah? Yeah, I suppose it is yuck it up because you're referring to laughing. I see. You're saying, right, yuck it up, laugh it up. Okay. So you shouldn't hold a grudge. And some sports VIPs, general managers maybe of a team. And discreet look. This is interesting. These repeated MK pairs. Something makeup. Discreet look, a sort of discreet application of makeup. Let's see. Shield for, represented somebody. Shield for them in a slightly more condescending phrasing, I guess. It's 328 feet in an Olympic-sized pool. That must be the length of an Olympic lap. I did not know that. Okay, so one of two penguin species endemic to Antarctica. What is this? Adelaide or something? I don't know. What musicians pluck on an mbira? A tune? That seems unlikely. That seems too obvious. One who collects just for kicks. A sneakerhead? Is that a phrase? The collects just for kicks suggests collecting sneakers, shoes, trainers, which I know is a big thing right now. So I'm just wondering if this is a phrase. It seems plausible. Contraction for one. A throb, maybe? That actually would make this tune, or at least it wouldn't make it tune. It would make it possible for it to be tuned. That's interesting. Let's keep looking around. La Blanc Posay skincare brand. Not sure about that. Passes. Hardly touch as one's food. Pick at one's food is to hardly touch it. And smart aleck is a phrase that could be used to describe sort of wise guy type. Sort of creature symbolizing rebirth in ancient Egypt. Right, so what is this? Why can I not place it? That is so odd. Something plated. Well, the way this is spelled looks like maybe I was going to say a tress of hair, like plaits of hair, but it could be a dress, maybe? I don't know, but that would need an E as well, sorry. Well, maybe this isn't pick at. Maybe it's peck at one's food? Like a bird might? Because a dress or a tress, but I think a dress would be pleated, whereas tresses would be put into plaits, sort of braids. Okay, so I think a tress of hair. And then a beetle, a sort of creature. So is that like a scarab? It's that particular beetle, I think. That would make sense. Discreet look. Oh, this will be, we're probably going to repeat the phrase makeup. Discreet look. Oh, no makeup. Right. Okay, I see. So a sort of makeup look that's intended to seem as though the wearer is not wearing makeup. I see. Okay, emphatic confirmation about oneself. I sure am. There we go. All right. And kings and queens are pieces on a chessboard. There we go. That was a sense that didn't occur to me when I was first glancing at it. Blank climbing discipline that debuted at the Olympics. What is it? Lead climbing, maybe? I'm not sure. Transport in the film Roman Holiday. Oh, boy, I think I have seen this ages ago. I can't even think. It's probably a Vespa or something, given the Rome. Miley Cyrus or Hannah Montana. A pop idol, maybe? Pop star? I don't know which of those is more likely. But certainly pop something, pop singer. Whatever works. No prob? I'm not very confident about that one. Gaelic tongue could be erse. which is indeed a Gaelic tongue, a Gaelic language. Okay, so pop star here, not pop idol. And whatever works. No rush? Oh, sorry, whenever works. I think I've been reading this incorrectly this whole time. No rush, whenever works, no rush. Okay. Oh, a moped, of which a Vespa is one, a sort of motorized scooter. There we go. So this is lead climbing. Okay. Discipline the debut. It must be a rock climbing sort of thing, I imagine. And what QR codes might pull up menus these days? Sometimes you'll find a digital menu via QR code. Trail mix bit could be a nut, a bit of trail mix, the food. And if something is not completely worthless, it's usable. Cause of fatigue could be anemia. You could have a physical anemia making you tired. And sort of malnourishment of some sort. Animal identified by its number of toes. Oh, what is it? The three-toed sloth or something? I don't remember exactly how many. But yes, I'm broadly aware of that animal. They're good for poaching. Eggs or what? Sources of psilocybin informally, shrooms. So right, psilocybin, the psychoactive substances in magic mushrooms. And they're good for poaching are what? Not sure. Nordic noir author Larsson, the late Stig Larsson, author of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, etc. And they're good for poaching. What is this? Probably ends with an S. Does that look good here? Call someone by the wrong name. Say, right, okay, that does look like it's going to end with an S, so that seems fine. Choose or choice. And Princess Diana or Diana Ross. Interesting. What connects these two people other, obviously, than their given name? I'm not sure offhand. Wayne blank. Wayne. Oh, Manor? Batman's home in the Batman world, I guess. And passes. I'm not sure about these. Contraction for one. It still looks like it could be a throb. And 2-bit, not sure about that. Green cappuccino alternative. What on earth is that? Green cappuccino alternative. I'm not sure if this means green in terms of a literal color or green in terms of some sort of ecological thing, sort of fair trade coffee or something, but that's not really an alternative. That's just an example of it. I do not know what's going on with that. Green cappuccino alternative. Choose or choice. Select. Oh yeah, because choice can be used as an adjective. That was a sort of, choice meat, sort of select, a select few. A choice few is maybe a better way to put it. And then if you choose something, you select it. So that works well. Word with snake or four. Oh, snake eyes or four eyes. So snake eyes is what, rolling a double ones on 2 dice, and four eyes is a sort of derogatory term for someone wearing glasses. All right. Oh, Princess Diana or Diana Ross could either of them could be a gay icon. Right. Okay, that's entirely plausible. That sounds correct to me. So gay icon, there we go. And metaphor for fitting items into a moving band. Tetris, often when you sort of have to fit objects together in a confined space, you compare it to the video game Tetris. The story of whose licensing and publication is being made into a film, apparently. I've actually, many years ago, I interviewed Hank Rogers, who's the protagonist of that story as depicted in that film, the guy who licensed Tetris from the Soviet Union, which actually politically, the political unit of the Soviet Union entity owned the rights to Tetris because it was created at a Soviet university, I believe, by Alexei Pajitnov. It's actually a genuinely interesting story. And so It's not a bad subject for a film. Okay, passes something. Green cappuccino alternative. Oh, a latte of some sort? A matcha latte? Matcha is green. Isn't that 5 letters, though? That would make this Bach. Oh, right. Is it Bosch pears? Good for poaching poached pears. Right. That's a dessert. So does matcha have two C's maybe in a variant spelling? I don't know that I was aware of that. If so, feels as though it must be the answer, though. Spirit of Oaxaca, space between leaf veins, and in. A matcha latte? That doesn't seem very likely. Above board. If something's above board, it's licit. It's not illegal. It's not illicit. And a road trip stopover could be an inn. Cordelia's father. Presumably this is Shakespeare rather than To Kill a Mockingbird. Lear, King Lear. Am I remembering that character's name correctly from To Kill a Mockingbird? I might be misremembering. One who makes videos, e.g. a content creator. Whoops. Yikes. A very of-the-moment role, of which I suppose I am one as I sit here creating this content. Place for a graphic image. A tee, graphic tee, a t-shirt. And country singer Jason, do not know. Sweater over a turtleneck, say. Over a turtleneck. Not sure. And then here we have workplace for a roughneck. That's a funny little pair there. Workplace for a roughneck and sweater over a turtleneck, say. It's a nice little couplet. In any case, what would a workplace for a roughneck be? I think a roughneck is an oil worker, so an oil rig maybe. And Ron, who played Tarzan, I think Ron Ely was the television actor who played Tarzan many decades ago. One side of a 90s boy band rivalry, right? NSYNC, who I guess were rivals with the Backstreet Boys. And to take in money is to earn that money. Creepy story, question mark. Question mark. So what's the pun? The question mark indicates some kind of pun or wordplay. Oh, an attic, a story of a home. So story of a house, I should say. So, the sort of loft or top floor. And it could be creepy because there could be cobwebs and it could be dark and creepy. All right, there we go. Unite is to ally, to team up. And Blank Hunt, Tom Cruise's role in Mission Impossible, that's the Ethan Hunt role, originally from the television series Mission Impossible and now the Tom Cruise films. One unlikely to make a pass. Something hog? To make a pass, not sure. Electrically neutral in chemistry. Oh, I'm not sure about that offhand either. One named singer with the 1997 hit Show Me Love. Is it Robin with that YN there? Would be my suspicion. And question from a friendly interviewer. Does that work with this? Question from a friendly interviewer. Oh, a lob. Right, a sort of easy softball question. Right, okay, there we go. Oh, electrically neutral in chemistry, apolar maybe? It doesn't have a pole, doesn't have an electric pole? Is that it? 2-bit, does that work? Oh, cheapo. Right, cheapo, sort of low quality. Okay, it might be apolar. I'm not going to put it in just yet. One unlikely to make a pass. Oh, a ball hog. In a sport, you're not going to pass the ball to someone else, maybe a basketball player or something, could be a ball hog. Shell filling station. This looks like enacts. Yes, passes a law, for instance, enacts that law. And this looks like Roche, La Roche-Posay. I don't recognize it, but it looks pretty plausible. Shell filling station. Oh, a taco bar. You could fill a taco shell at a taco bar, sort of buffet arranged for taco filling. Okay. And apolar was indeed electrically neutral. All right. Oh, a contraction of throw, not a throb. Okay, good thing I didn't write that in extra. Write that in early. Yeah, certainly words with overlap, throw and throb. You could have a throb of pain or a throw of pain. And anyway, contraction in, I assume this means in labor and giving birth, a contraction would be a throw. So what musicians pluck on an mbira? I mean, is it just a tune? Is it? I just think that's very unlikely because that would apply to any plucked instrument. So just what would be the point of singling this instrument out? A tine? Like a metal tine seems more likely. The problem is I don't know these penguin species. Adeloo, well, actually, now that I think about it, Adeloo doesn't sound like anything. So if I were guessing between tune and tine, I would go with tine here because Adelai looks much more plausible. All right, I'm going to call that a day and move on, and I'll remember that if the puzzle doesn't validate, maybe that's where I should look first. This does look like matcha latte, but I'm not sure how it's being spelled. My guess would be this, but we'll keep going. Call someone by the wrong name, say. Errors? Makes an error? Is it as simple as that? Spirit of Oaxaca, space between leaf veins, in. Around? Country singer Jason, I don't know. I mean, based purely on the fill. McLean, maybe? I have no idea if that's a country singer, but this NL doesn't actually look very good, so maybe not. Sweater over a turtleneck, say. Boy, this is not a great... This is not a great conclusion here. This went pretty well for most of the puzzle, but I have lost my momentum entirely. Space between leaf veins. I feel like I should, I just keep thinking of words like variegated and things like that, but it's not helpful. I don't think. Well, what if I put in the matcha the way I think it's probably spelled? Does that help? In. Oh, is matcha does matcha have a T? Why did I not think of that? Sorry, I'm very sorry about that. That's probably been infuriating for, over 10 minutes now at this point, I would suspect. Apologies. Okay, does that help? In. Oh, trendy, it's in, it's popular. Yes. Is it an areola, space between leaf veins? That's pretty common sort of anatomical and botanical kind of terminology for that sort of general kind of thing. One end of Suez. Oh, is it just, I didn't even look at this clue before. I think it's just the letter Z probably. Oh, spirit of Oaxaca is mezcal. Spirit as in alcohol. I was trying to think of something mythological, but of course that was my mistake for limiting my interpretation of how many senses of a word were reasonable. This does look like areola. Aldine? That is not familiar to me in the slightest. I'm sorry, but hopefully it's correct. Jason Aldean, areola. That's another tough cross for me right there, isn't it? And then a sweater over a turtleneck. Say, oh, it's a layer of clothing, right? Okay, I was looking for something more specific, but no, it was quite general. So let's see if this validates. There we go. It did. All right, that worked out okay in the end. My lowest hanging fruit that I left on the table was, well, I just mixed two metaphors. Sorry, the lowest hanging fruit that I left unplucked, I suppose, unplucked, yes, indeed, was this one end of Suez, which is a Z, which is simply one end of the word Suez, the letter Z spelled phonetically. And that's all there was to that. That would have been a huge help. I would have gotten mezcal much earlier. And probably areola as well. And then macho, the other incredible oversight was just, I think I was confusing macho with the word mochi, which is M-O-C-H-I and not spelled with the T, at least in the sort of, Romanized form. So, or anglicized. So that was just a huge oversight. Just gave myself a lot of trouble in that corner for absolutely no reason. And there we have it. A bit of a tricky puzzle here and there. For the most part went smoothly until I absolutely sabotaged myself towards the end. And then this required a little bit of inference. The Embera tines and the Adelai penguins. Although again, if I had thought about the choice a bit and how it interacted with the penguin species a little more quickly, it would have been less of an issue because Adeloo just doesn't look or sound like anything real. So there we go. That was the Friday puzzle. enjoyed that one. Definitely gave me some trouble here and there, and I gave myself some trouble as well, which never helps. And before we wrap up the video, let's discuss some clues from yesterday's puzzle, because there actually were several comments that I thought were probably worth reading as clarifications. So Kathleen Quinn points out Ron Weasley is the best friend to Harry Potter from the Harry Potter books, and so that what was the full clue? Something like, yes, to Ron, two Blue Jays, to Ron, comma, two Blue Jays, essentially an ode to Harry Potter's best friend and the Toronto baseball team, the Toronto Blue Jays. So thank you for that. And Kathleen Quinn also explains that Daniel Ainge is an American formal basketball player, coach, and professional baseball player. He is still a household name in the Boston area, where I live, where he played for the Celtics from 1981 to 1989, about a decade of his 14-year NBA career. Ainge started alongside Larry Bird et al., and the Celtics, who won the NBA championship for the 1985 to 1986 season, are regarded by many to be one of the best teams in NBA history. Thor Christensen adds that Ainge also served as the Celtics executive of basketball operations from 2003 to 2021. In December of 2021, he took up the same role with the Utah Jazz. So thank you for that deep dive into Daniel Ainge. And Telenostic points out that, of course, and I don't know, I completely blanked on this for some odd reason, but Pesach, the holiday marking the exodus from Egypt, is the Hebrew name for Passover, of course. So thank you, Telenostic, for reminding me of that fact. Craig Horleman explains that Robin Roberts, with whom I was unfamiliar, is a co-host of ABC's Good Morning America. She used to be a sportscaster for ESPN. There we go. I don't think I've encountered her in the crossword before, but couldn't be certain of that. Thank you for the explanation. And Ben Ward points out that the first syllable in Zwiebelkuchen is pronounced to rhyme with T, as I did just there, and not with tie, as I erroneously did yesterday, as opposed to the German for two, which is zwei and rhymes with tie. The difference being with IE and EI, you pronounce it as if you're saying the second letter in English. Oh, the second letter of those two. So with IE, you pronounce it E, and with EI, you pronounce it I. I see. So zwei, Z-W-I-E, rhymes with E. No, sorry, I did that wrong. Zvi, Z-W-I-E, rhymes with E, and Zwei, Z-W-E-I, rhymes with I. That's a good trick, though. Pronounce the second letter in English. I'll try and keep that in mind, and probably will not so much forget the rule, but just forget to check for it. I suspect is more likely, which is exactly what happened just a moment ago. Dan F. Reminds me that the USS Cole was the target of an al-Qaeda attack in Yemen in 2002 that killed 17 people. And finally, Thor Christensen observes what I forgot to research, which is that yesterday's puzzle was Joe Dini's 16th crossword for the New York Times. So thank you to to the several commenters making up those 7 comments. Some of them, of course, were duplicates, or not duplicates, but repeated commenters. Thank you, as always, for your corrections, information, and context. I appreciate it. And I'll be back tomorrow for the Saturday edition of the New York Times crossword. Another themeless puzzle, possibly a tougher one than this. Hopefully I don't give myself as much trouble. We'll have to find out tomorrow. Do join me then, but until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Friday. Take care.